Boxing experts worldwide have reacted to the shocking loss of Canelo Alvarez, the rumor that shook the boxing world.
So I was like, yo, this is actually one of the few fights that's 50-50 to me, because they both highly skilled, and then their walk-around weights, you really don't know how far off of each other they really are.
There is no doubt that boxing thrives on drama, but sometimes the drama comes long before the opening bell. In recent weeks, the world of boxing has been abuzz with a rumor that has many fans questioning the strength of one of its greatest champions. The talk is that Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar who has carried boxing on his shoulders for over a decade, got knocked out during sparring. This happened when he was preparing for his monumental clash against Terrence "Bud" Crawford. The rumors began after a video surfaced online claiming that Canelo had been dropped by a sparring partner. Though no clear footage of the knockout was released, that didn't stop the story from spreading like wildfire across forums, Twitter threads, and YouTube channels. The thing is that for a fighter of Canelo's caliber, even the suggestion of being knocked out before fight night is enough to set off alarm bells. Fans wonder whether this is simply internet exaggeration, or the champion was truly showing cracks before facing his most dangerous opponent yet. Nevertheless, this is where the controversy deepens, because in boxing, perception can sometimes matter just as much as reality. The rumor that Canelo had been dropped by a sparring partner didn't need proof, it only needed attention, and in no time it got that attention. Fans and experts react.
So I said, okay, well, if Crawford fights his fight, he can make it difficult for Canelo. And if Canelo can hurt Crawford early and corner him and cut the ring off real well, he can make it a difficult night for Crawford.
As the rumor gained traction, reactions poured in from every corner of the boxing world. For Crawford's supporters, it was almost seen as divine confirmation of what they had long argued. They claim that Canelo's days are numbered as his reflexes are slowing down. Worst was when they said Crawford, fresh off his career-defining win over Errol Spence Jr., was too sharp and too fast for the Mexican champion to handle. Social media lit up with comments mocking Canelo, viral posts all pointing out that if Canelo can't handle sparring, how is he going to handle Bud? That reaction fueled the belief that the fight might already be over before it even started. On the other hand, Canelo's fans were quick to dismiss the entire story. They reminded everyone that sparring is designed to push fighters beyond their comfort zones. But beyond that, many legends of the sport have admitted to being dropped in the gym, stating that it's part of testing yourself against the best training partners possible. Then came the expert voices, adding more fuel to the fire. One of the most recognizable voices and personalities in the boxing world, Teddy Atlas, was never one to shy away from controversy. Bluntly speculated that bringing in a dangerous sparring partner like Jaron Boots Ennis could be risky. Ennis is young, explosive, and undefeated, with the kind of raw speed and power that even elite fighters struggle to handle. According to whispers, Ennis had been in Canelo's camp, and fans quickly connected the dots between his presence and the supposed knockout. Juxtaposing that with photos of Canelo showing up to camp with what looked like a black eye, the speculation grew even louder. At this stage, it was no longer just a rumor, it had become a talking point that shaped how people viewed the fight itself. Which raises an important question. Is this rumor even worth believing, or is it simply another example of how boxing gossip can take on a life of its own? Sparring, perception, and misinterpretation.
If it was a 50-50 fight before, I'd give Canelo the edge just for that. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to be as surprised as he would have been by the switch hitting and the southpaw capabilities of Crawford. So,
amidst all of these, one thing people have turned a blind eye to is that to make sense of the rumor, you first need to understand what sparring really means. Unlike what you might have been thinking, sparring is not a fight. It's like a laboratory. Fighters step into the gym not to protect their records, but to test the limits, sharpen their reflexes, and prepare for the unexpected. That is why moments in training can be dramatic without being definitive. For fans, when they hear the word knockout, they imagine the fight being over. But in sparring, the word carries a very different weight. Fighters will often push themselves into uncomfortable scenarios, sometimes letting sparring partners press the attack just to learn how to respond. A clean shot can happen, even a stumble too, and a moment that looks like a knockdown can happen, but none of it guarantees weakness on fight night. For Canelo's situation, it is unique, and here's why. For a fighter with over 60 professional bouts, sparring isn't about survival, it's about preparation. Then bringing in someone like Jaron Ennis, explosive, fast, and relentless, isn't just about getting touched up. It's about recreating the pressure and sharpness that he expects from Crawford. Whether or not he took a hard shot in the gym is almost beside the point. What really matters is whether those sessions left him better prepared when the bell rings. That is why the rumor, while entertaining, is somewhat misleading. Now think about it. Does a bruised eye or a bad moment in camp suggest defeat? Does it prove that Canelo's team is willing to take risks behind closed doors so that on fight night there are no surprises? Well, here's the bigger picture. The stakes of this fight are higher than ever. When rumors hit harder than punches. Boxing isn't just fought with gloves and fists, it is also fought in the mind. That is why a rumor like Canelo being dropped in sparring doesn't just stir up headlines, it plants seeds of doubt. At the elite level, fighters battle more than just their opponents. They're constantly fighting against public perception. Not only can a single negative rumor quickly snowball into a narrative that shadows a fighter all the way into the ring. Once that story catches fire, fans, media, and even opponents begin to feed off it, sometimes turning it into a weapon for mental advantage. For Canelo, the issue isn't simply whether he got caught in the gym, it's whether people believe he did or not. That belief carries real consequences, influencing ticket sales, betting odds, and even psychological momentum. Which is why this rumor doesn't just linger, it collides with the fighter's reality. Canelo versus Crawford. Now, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is more than just another headline bout. It is a generational clash, the kind of fight that defines legacies. For over a decade, Canelo has been the face of boxing, carrying the sport on his back, with mega fights against names like Gennady Golovkin, Floyd Mayweather, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol. He has moved through 4 weight classes, captured titles in each, and built a resume that places him among the sport's greatest. But time waits for no fighter. At 34 years old, with over 60 professional bouts and countless rounds of sparring behind him, it seems that Canelo is no longer the same youthful force he once was. Every bruise, every rumor, and every photo of him looking less than perfect feeds into that narrative, that perhaps he is nearing the end of his reign. Crawford, on the other hand, is riding a wave of momentum that few fighters ever experience. His masterclass performance against Errol Spence Jr. elevated him from pound-for-pound great to generational talent. To add to that, he looks fresher, hungrier, and even more confident than ever. To many fans, the timing feels perfect. Crawford is ascending while Canelo may have been fading. That is why a single rumor about a sparring knockdown can take on the weight of prophecy. But let's be clear, the truth was revealed inside the ring. Now, while rumors may set the stage and they may build the narrative and they may fuel fan debates, but when that bell rung, only Canelo and Crawford will write that final story.